Hi, everyone. Dr. Sheena Howard here, founder of Power Your Research. Now, this video is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to walk you through what you need to know to build a six-figure academic brand. And by the end of this, if you're taking notes or you come back to rewatch it, I want you to actually use the information that we're covering here today to actually go build out your plan to make six figures next year. Because after we go through these steps, you'll have a pretty solid plan around what you need to know and what you need to do to build a six-figure academic brand. Now, when I say academic brand, I'm referring to people that have academic credentials, PhDs, master's degrees. Maybe you're working as a faculty member, maybe you're not. Maybe you just have a different type of day job and you want to own your academic credentials, use them to monetize so that you can protect your future, meaning you can make enough income for your household where you don't need that daytime job if you do not want to have it. And when I say leverage your academic credentials, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be doing something related to your educational background, though you may be doing multiple things to build that six-figure income. I've been able to create the Power Your Research program and scale it. And I've also been able to build my writing career to six figures. I use my personal academic brand to build those other businesses out. But I am the brand. It all starts with me. So let's get started. The first thing is you want to define your niche. A lot of academics that come to me, they don't have clarity. I just talked to someone who she said, I'm a practitioner and this is my day job. It's in the higher ed space, but it's not necessarily related to the research that I do and to the things that I teach. So a lot of academics need clarity, and clarity means you need to define your niche. Who are you? Who do you speak to? How can you help a certain group of people? Because once you can help a certain group of people, you can pay them they can pay you to help them. That is the foundation of how you make money. So what is your area of expertise is one question you should be asking yourself. And how can you help people that care about your area of expertise? So niche down. A lot of you have already spoken to me and you know that my brand statement is I create experiences for free thinkers to feel empowered when they're challenging the status quo. So who do I help? Who do I attract? Free thinkers. What do I want to help them do? Feel empowered when they're challenging the status quo. I can do that in multiple different contexts. It may look like empowering academics through the Power Your Research program, or it may look like empowering people to tell stories, right? My writing career. It may look like telling stories through the lens of empowering people to challenge the status quo. So niche down, figure out who it is you want to talk to, who it is you want to help based off of your areas of expertise. One other quick thing that I will say about this is in creating the Power Your Research program, the way I did that was I took out a blank sheet of paper, and you can do this exercise too if you're trying to figure out a way to create a business based on your areas of expertise and the things that you love. You can do this right now. Take out a piece of paper. On the left side, write a column of all of the things you like to do. So I had a column that said, I like to help people. I like to give advice. I like talking to people, write down all of the things you like to do, even if they sound like small, trivial things, right? Maybe you like to play chess, right? Maybe you like to play bingo on the weekends. Maybe you like caring for your children. All of the things that you can think of, an exhaustive list of things that you like to do on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, write down all of the things that you're good at. So these are going to be things that you might not necessarily like, but you might be good at them. For example, my accountant, he's like, I'm just good at being an accountant. It's not necessarily my passion. So all of the things that you have skills that you're good at, write those down. And again, no matter how trivial they might be, sometimes because we've been in academia so much, we forget that the skills that we have actually have value. Like, I'm good at teaching public speaking. I'm a good public speaker, and I happen to teach public speaking to students. But sometimes higher ed makes us forget that, oh yeah, I can actually teach public speaking outside of the college space. So have those two columns, right? Here's how I created the Power Your Research program. I closed my eyes and I went down the left-hand column with my finger, and I just randomly stopped. And I opened my eyes and I looked at what I landed on. So I happened to land on, giving advice to people. So I wrote that down, giving advice to people. And then I did the same thing for the column on the right-hand side. I closed my eyes and I went slowly down the list and I just randomly stopped. And I came up on, branding, right? I am really good at marketing and branding, pitching and those types of things. And so I stared at that for a minute. I said, advice and branding. How can I create something between the thing that I love to do and the skill that I have that will actually help people? I can help and empower academics to build their academic brands. I'm doing both. I'm giving advice. I'm doing something that I'm really good at. I have a proven track record. Now it's just me using my academic brand to draw people in to my business. Okay, so do that exercise. See if you can come up with a business idea, a way to help people, something that you can monetize to figure out that niche. So first thing in building a 6-figure academic brand, define your niche. I could give you another example, but I don't want to get stuck on this too long. Feel free to drop questions in the comments if you're watching this. I'll circle back and answer them, or I'll answer them live. The second thing is stick to your niche, right? You can't do, like, let's say you created an online course on Teachable or Udemy or something like that. You can't just give up after 3 months because, hundreds of people didn't buy the course yet. You got to stick to the niche. You have to stick to the brand that you're creating. You have to be consistent. This is where a lot of people give up and they don't see the fruits of their labor because they don't stick with it long enough. So you need to create one type of content for this specific niche of people. So for example, my Instagram looks totally different than my LinkedIn. So on my Instagram, that's where I'm building, that's where I'm building my writing income, right? Because my Instagram page is all about writing, giving people writing advice, helping other authors, staying top of mind as a writer. So on Instagram, I'm not talking about Power Your Research. I might have 1 or 2 posts about Power Your Research. I'm not talking about it at all. I'm talking specifically to these niche of people, writers who want to use writing to empower people, and people who are interested in me writing their books. And I stick to it. For a year, all of my Instagram content has been speaking to that niche. Same thing on LinkedIn. I'm not going to start posting on LinkedIn about the Wonder Woman comic books I write, because on LinkedIn, I'm focusing on academics who I'm trying to help get free from higher education. If I started talking about comic books, you'd be confused. So you need to stick to the niche and be consistent over a consistent period of time. I'm not talking about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I'm talking about a consistent period of time, a year. You have to keep showing up for this niche audience. A lot of people need to hear your messaging between 6 to 8 times before they're ready to buy anything from you. You need brand awareness, brand trust in order to turn someone into a brand customer. And there are stages to that. We talk about sales funnel in those 3 stages a lot in some of my previous videos. Go through the feed to see if you can find those if you want more in-depth information on that. The third thing is, in some ways, you have to stop thinking about making the money and think about the value that you can provide to people. Because if you think about the money, then you're not thinking about actually helping people. And the way to make money is to actually help people and to provide value. So the content that you create in the digital space has to be valuable to the niche area. So when you're talking about building content, a lot of educators, academics have a real big problem with how to use social media effectively to reach their six-figure goals, or just their goals in increasing their speaking rates or consulting and coaching rates, whatever it is. And you're not providing value. You're not giving people information that is helpful, that is educating them, that this video is free to you. I'm giving you some really important information about how you can build a six-figure brand, and it's free. You're not paying for this, and you can actually use the things I'm teaching you right now to go out and set up your six-figure brand journey by watching this video. I could just as easily charge you for this, but I actually want to help people. I actually want to empower my educators and academics to build a six-figure brand and get financially free from unstable higher education. So give value to your ideal audience and help them and give them free advice. And you actually have to be social proof. If I'm telling you that I can help you increase your visibility, authority, and income, but I've never done that, you're not going to be convinced. But you can easily Google me and see that all of the things that I teach, I've done. I have social proof. I have reviews from other people that I've helped. So provide value. Once you start providing value, you'll get social proof, right? You'll get testimonials, and then it snowballs from there. Number 4, learn how to monetize off of your niche. Learn how to monetize. So if you're in the academic space, if you have a PhD or a master's degree, it's likely that you've never run a successful business, and your personal academic brand is a business. You have to think about it as a business. You have to understand it as a business, and you have to do what business people do. And you have to learn that. The educational system does not teach us how to make money. It just teaches us how to get a job. And if you have a PhD, you've been indoctrinated for like 10 years post high school, right? 4 years for the undergrad, 2-3 years for the master's, another 2-3 years for the PhD, right? So you haven't been taught to think like an entrepreneur. You have to learn the skills. It's the skill to be an entrepreneur. So learn how to monetize. The first baby step you need to take is what are the channels and avenues to monetize? Because there are a lot of them. You may only need to use one, or you may need to use a mix, but it's based off of your personality and the best way that you can deliver information to your ideal audience. So here are the few ways that you can monetize. You can start, coach people, right? Is there a coaching service that you can provide where you can transform people's lives? People know if they come into the Power Your Research program, I'm going to get you to increase visibility, authority, and to a six-figure brand. I can help you set that up and get the media exposure and visibility you want. How can you help people transform with your coaching service? This is the mistake I see far too often. Educators, academics come to me. They say they have a coaching program. There's a link on their website for a 1-hour call for $100. Nobody's signing up for their coaching call. You need to have a sales funnel. People need a reason to click on that and pay you. They need to know that that call or your coaching service is going to take them from point A to point B. What is the transformation that you are promising? So you can have a coaching service. You can get sponsorships. Organizations pay you, right, to do something. Maybe it's to do a live event. Maybe organizations are sponsoring you so that when you go do your book signing event, you mention them as a sponsor. The sponsor gets something out of it. You're mentioning them at this event. You get something out of it. They're paying you. So for my book signing events that I do, I get sponsors, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I teach you the steps to that in the Power Your Research program. So this video, I can't go over all that, right? There's limits to the free advice too, which we'll talk about next. But getting sponsorships, right? Making outreach to organizations to sponsor, to sponsor you, pay you so that they can actually get in front of your audience. Maybe they pay you to create content, maybe a reel on Instagram, maybe mention them on LinkedIn. Of course, you need to show the value. You need to show that you can get the organization in front of a niche audience, right? It goes back to knowing who your niche is. So there's a buildup, right? Once you start getting the consistency down, like we talked about before, you can start getting sponsorships, endorsements, brand deals. I did a really nice video on the difference between sponsorships and endorsements, I think last week. So go through and check on that if you can. Courses is another channel that you can learn to monetize. These are digital courses, right? So Teachable is a great place to host a course. Udemy is a great place to host a course. However, they are two very different things. I've done a video on the differences between both of them. I use both, but they serve different purposes. So you can monetize a digital course. But again, back to what I said earlier, the digital course has to show people that they're going to transform. If I pay you to take your course, I want the expected result. So when someone comes into the Power Your Research program, they want to increase their visibility, authority, and income without paying a publicist $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And so that's what the program is going to teach you. It's going to take you from where you are to that last step, of being financially secure, protecting your future from an unstable higher ed by building your visibility, authority, and income, being that superstar professor that you want to be. So when you have a course, it's the same thing. You need to speak to the niche, show them how you can help them, okay? And they will buy your course. Shout out to Jason. Jason says, I love these ideas about finding ways to document our value before monetizing. Yes, Jason. And Jason, if you got a chance to sign up for that free Power Your Research Masterclass, I'll go in a little bit more detail as well. And you have the link to schedule the call with me. So make sure you check back on that. Also, Jason, the Power Your Research Masterclass has different times. So you might be able to find some times on Monday or different days. So check back on that link. But so courses, right? A digital course, give somebody a step-by-step curriculum to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. So, I'm going to pick on Jason because he's on the call. If Jason created a digital course on his own on Teachable, I know he has education in English, right? I know he does, his areas of expertise is on British literature and that kind of thing. What can you teach people step by step that they would want to learn in a course from you? There are lots of things. If you've written a book on this area, which I think you have, teach people how to do a proposal for a publisher, right? A lot of people would like to know how you published that book. Maybe looking, at England or whatever it is, right? I'm just coming off the top, right? What are their historical patterns in literature that might be valuable for people that care about that kind of thing? So you got to think outside of higher ed and figure out what the everyday person can learn from you. It might not have anything to do with your degree. It might have to just do with something that you have a skill in outside of higher ed, right? We all have practical skills outside of higher ed. And if we don't, we can go and get those practical skills, right? I did my dissertation on race and gender representation in comics, but I wasn't always a comic book writer. That is a skill that I developed that I now, I charge people lots of money to write their comic books. So think outside the box a little bit. So learn how you want to monetize off of your niche. The other way you can monetize is ads revenue. So you see all these people on YouTube pumping out videos, making thousands of dollars every month, millions of dollars every month. You start pumping out some YouTube content, turn on the monetization button. Once you get to 1,000 subscribers, you're able to monetize. 1,000 subscribers is not a lot, but you got to stick to your niche. If I'm not on YouTube yet. I like to take things methodically, build up, right? Build up slowly. Okay. I could just as easily take this video in all of my other previous live videos that I've done on LinkedIn. They're all in the same subject matter area. put them on YouTube, I could get 1,000 subscribers probably by next week. You guys would watch it. You guys would share the YouTube video. I can turn on monetization. YouTube automatically will put those ads in there and I can monetize, right? I have thousands of people on my mailing list. Send them the link to the YouTube channel, right? And I could monetize. So there's lots of things you can do, y'all. It's just that higher ed has trained us to think that we don't have value outside of higher ed. And I'm passionate about this because it is sad that so many people with PhDs are struggling in their faculty position. I just got off a call with someone who is doing amazing work, has a PhD, can't get a tenure track job. Getting a tenure track job right now is like trying to get to the NFL. And you know I'm not lying, okay? So, right, you can do this. You can own your academic credentials. Another way to monetize your brand is affiliates. Now, I do this, but again, using affiliates is about consistency. So all of the companies that you love, for the most part, they have an affiliate program, which means you can register for free. You can get a link. You can start posting that link on your content, your mailing list, your social media pages. And when people click on that link, and if they buy, you'll get a percentage. So let's say I have an affiliate link for a company that creates LLCs. One of the things that I teach my academics inside the Power Your Research program is start an LLC, because you're building a brand, baby, and you're about to be making 6 figures off that brand. You need an LLC, right? I'll send you a link. Here's a place where you can create an LLC for super cheap. I use them. Once you click that link, you buy the service for $200. Things like the service I use is $200 to create an LLC. They do all the paperwork for you. Hey, I get $20 off of that. Now imagine I do that, 500 times a year, right? Whatever it is. My audience is pretty big. So you can do affiliates. Now, affiliates only work if you're talking, if you're consistent, right? You're building up your mailing list, right? You're speaking to your target audience. You're doing live videos, all of those things you need to do. You're putting your links into your courses, all of that type of thing. Another way to monetize your brand is to sell merchandise. Mugs, t-shirts, etc. So, places like Instagram, they're connected to places like Shopify and Printful, and they make it super easy. You don't have to have a warehouse. People just click and order. They see the pictures of your mug and your t-shirt. They click and order. You don't have to do anything, right? And so that's another way to monetize. For example, I could have Power Your Research mugs. I could have Power Your Research t-shirts, right? Imagine if everybody in my Power Your Research program, I gave them an opportunity to buy a $20 mug. So my Instagram has, I think, almost 4,000 followers. Imagine if I used Instagram to just sell merch. I'm already doing the work to build up the Instagram following. On Twitter, I already am verified and have like 7K followers. Imagine if I just had a link in my bio. Hey, you want some merch? And it has to be merch that speaks to the targeted audience. I'm not going to be selling Power Your Research mugs to my writer friends over on Instagram. Just like on LinkedIn, since I talk to educators and academics, I'm not going to be selling you like comic book mugs. You don't want that. You want information about how you can increase your visibility, authority, and income without the expense of a publicist. Jason says, last year in my field, there was one job in the US. Yes. Getting a tenure track job is like making it to the NFL. Even if you're a superstar in college and you got that college scholarship, you still might not make it to the NFL. Okay. So we're going to help you own your academic credentials so that you can live the life of your dreams, whether you're in academia or not. If you're blessed enough to have a tenure track job, maybe you're a full professor like me, amazing. You have another problem. You know that you've hit the pay ceiling and you might not want to go the administration route. You don't have to. A lot of people do because they want to make more money, but you want to live a happy, fulfilled life. And so that's what we're teaching you to do. Essie says, this is transformational. I never thought of this. Shout out to Essie. Essie's been following me for a minute. We've had conversations one-on-one. Thanks for being here. And I'm glad that this is helpful. Take notes, come back to it. Jason says, I actually do want comic book mugs. Jason, go follow me on Instagram where I talk all about comics. I know that you're in the comics. We can geek out on comics for sure. So the last channel that I want to talk to you about around learning how to monetize is a membership site. So there are lots of membership sites. You can have a private Discord channel. If you don't know what a Discord channel is, you could Google Discord. You could have a private Slack channel. That's Slack. The membership site that I use is called Patreon, Patreon. Patreon is a membership site. Basically, people pay you on a monthly basis so that you can be awesome. And in exchange, you're helping them in some way. I could do an entire video on membership sites, but my Patreon membership site brings in about $700 a month. Okay. So, if you're one of those people trying to figure out like, hey, how do I just make an extra $1,000 a month? Think about a membership site, but it all comes down to the same foundational information. You have to help people. People are not going to continue to pay me every month if I'm not helping them in some way. So you can go to my Patreon page to get some examples. I'm trying to think, should I put it? I'm not going to put the Patreon link in the chat, but basically on my Patreon membership site, it's for my creatives. It's not necessarily for my academics. I edit people's work. I help them do their comic books from start to finish. I send them my books. So when any of my books get published, they get free copies. I give them behind the scenes information on things that I'm working on, things that the regular public doesn't have access to. And in exchange, there's different tiers. Some of them are $5 a month members. Some of them are $12 a month members. The people that are getting, editing services pay a lot more because I actually have to do work to help them. But explore membership sites. But it comes back to the same thing. You got to build an audience first, and you build an audience by focusing on that niche, the people that you can help with the thing that you're an expert in or good at. And you're just speaking to them over a period of time, giving them free, helpful advice until eventually they'll want the paid advice. Now, I'm sure some of the things I'm talking about right now, although I'm giving you as much value as humanly possible on a free call, I'm sure at some points in this, you're like, well, how? Like, what are the steps, right? If you want the steps, you get the paid information. So I can take you through the steps so that you can work one-on-one with me so that I can help you get there. That's how it works. It all comes down to the same foundational thing. You help people, people pay you. And it's amazing because it's great helping people. I'm enjoying being on this free call, helping people, right? I'm helping you, I'm giving you information, helping you take notes. So the next thing you want to do is figure out your channel and method. So I just gave you lots of ways that you can monetize. Any of those things or combination of those things you can monetize into a six-figure brand, or you can create a business off of your brand that you can monetize to six figures, right? They're different. A personal academic brand is different than your business, but they can feed each other, right? So you need to figure out the channel or method you want to use. Ask yourself, what are your passions? What are your strengths? What do you like doing? What do you like and what are you good at? So I gave you an exercise to do to figure out what you like and what you're good at and how you can turn that into something that can help people. But in terms of even social media, you don't need to be on all the platforms. I know it makes us feel like we do, but actually being on all of the social media platforms is probably doing you more harm than good. Figure out the social media platform that you like the best and use that one. Master that one. Master that. Okay. Just like I started out on Twitter, I'm a writer. And if you're an academic, you've written a PhD, you're a writer too. So I started out on Twitter. I mastered it. I got verified. I got, I think I have close to 7K followers. I teach you how to use Twitter to get media coverage and visibility in the Power Your Research program. But once I mastered that, I got that automated. I sent that off to an assistant. Hey, you just keep doing what I was doing. Now I'm jumping over to Instagram. So I've been on Instagram now coming up on a year, and I'm now mastering Instagram. I have almost 4,000 followers. I've used my Instagram content to create a 6-figure writing business in less than a year this year. So you don't need, like, I'm not on TikTok anymore. I don't post TikToks. I'm not on, whatever other platforms there are. I'm focusing, because each social media platform has its own algorithm. You got to learn and study that platform so you can use it to reach your goals. Essie says, how do I pay you for this? Should I call for an appointment? Essie, I remember speaking to you on a one-on-one call. We had a 30-minute call. I sent you an email, follow-up email with how to join the Power Your Research program. If you want to jump back into that, just shoot me an email. I will put my email address in the chat for anybody that wants to reach out. It's Sheena at poweryourresearch.com. Also, around this video, you always click the link to jump on a free 30-minute call with me. I can put that link in there as well for you while I talk. But back to what I was saying, you pick the social media platform that you're most comfortable with, okay? You don't have to be on all of them. Even with my Power Your Research program, I'm not on all of them with the Power Your Research business. Because if I'm going to start Power Your Research TikTok channel, and I'm not using it, that's actually going to do more harm than good. So don't be overwhelmed by this social media thing. Pick your social media channel, master it, build it, put some objectives around it, right? We talk about social media action plans in the Power Your Research program, but that's the crux of it. Have an objective attached to the social media platform that you like, post consistently, talking to your niche area, do it well, study that platform, see what works and doesn't, study the insights based on the things that you've posted, and keep posting content that is speaking to your target audience. That's kind of like the rundown of it quickly. We're at 31 minutes. I'm giving it all to you right now. But I want to get through this, and I don't want to keep you on here for like 50 minutes. Next thing, we talked about that. Learn and study the strategies of your social media channels. We talked about that. We're moving along. We talked about doing what works, study what works, learn your audience, figure out what they like. We talked about that, right? Because it's about your audience. It's not about you. It's about what they want. A quick thing too. Now this is I'm really going to give you the secret sauce here. You need to validate your ideas. Sometimes we have these amazing ideas in the middle of the night. I want to start an academic branding company. I'll jump up and start putting all of my energy for the next week into creating this academic branding company, all my blood, sweat, and tears, just to find out that nobody wants it. It's not speaking to my audience. They don't want to pay me for this. So before you kind of put all of your eggs in one basket for this idea that only you think is good, you got to make sure people want it first. There's a way to validate your offers and your ideas that's a little bit too complex to get in. But the gist of it is you got to beta test it first. Give it out for free first and get feedback. The next thing is, you have to find your true fans. I'm thinking about this. This should be a paid video, but I'm feeling spicy today, okay? Focus on your true fans, okay? What is a true fan? A true fan is someone that buys from you and someone that talks about you. Two things. A true fan is someone that buys from you and someone that talks about you. I keep an Excel spreadsheet of the people that have bought from me and the people that are talking about me positively. If you've ever bought anything from me and you've ever left a public review, you are a true fan. Thank you. I love you. And I love helping you reach your goals. Your name's on an Excel spreadsheet with a link to your social media pages because I want to continue to serve and help you. I might send you out surveys. Hey, what do you want next? What can I help you with? Is there anything existing that I already have that I can help you with? See, a lot of us are focused on, I want to go viral. I want 10,000 people to follow me on this platform. There are a lot of people that are verified that have thousands of followers and they cannot even sell 5 t-shirts to their followers because they don't have any true fans. It is better to have a small number of true fans than to have 10,000 people who do not care about the things that you are talking about. And this is why it's important to have a niche and serve that niche. And if you do it well, consistently, over a long period of time, those true fans will throw you over to the masses so that you can reach the 66%, the 70%. And if you're an academic, at somewhere along your academic journey, you learn the diffusion of innovation theory. And this is basically what the diffusion of innovation theory says. There are early adopters, right? There are late adopters, right? And there's a scale. A lot of us just want to jump over to focusing on the masses, and you have it all wrong. Would you rather go viral and reach, I don't know, 100,000 people and make no money, or just consistently serve an audience that you can help, an audience that you can impact and change lives and make 6 figures or more? Because once you figure out how to make 6 figures on your own brand, you can just scale it up to however much you want to scale it up to. This concept is called 1,000 True Fans. And the idea is that you only need 1,000 people to give you $100 in 1 year to make 6 figures. And when you say it like that, it sounds totally doable, because it is. 1,000 people, they just need to give you $100. Your digital course could be $100. You focus on people that need that thing, it's easy to find 1,000 people. Now, it's not easy, but it's extremely doable by anybody that's watching this video. And you can flip those numbers. You know, get 500 true fans and they pay you $200 a year. Even that makes it a lot more feasible. Okay. So the next thing is your website. You need a website. It needs to be effective. It needs to be good. I just talked to someone. She has an amazing background, amazing accomplishments. She doesn't have a website. A website means ownership. Okay. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is, we don't own them. But your website, for the most part, you own it. I know people say you own your website, but like it's hosted somewhere. And if the hosting site goes down, or like you could be screwed. But, you know, you own your website in terms of, you know, there's not an algorithm on your website. When people come to it, they get all of your content information. You can control it. You can put what you want on it. You need a website. Your website is part of your digital brand. Your website sometimes can determine whether somebody's going to offer you $500 for a speaking engagement or $3,500 for a speaking engagement. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that you shouldn't be doing speaking engagements for $500. Your speaking engagement rate should be $3,500 for a 1-hour call. So your website. You need ownership of these digital tools. Your website, mailing list. These are things that you own. These are things that allow you to talk directly to your true fans. You give your true fans more information. When you post to, say, Instagram or LinkedIn, there's like 2% of people that your messages are getting sent to. Even though you could have 7,000 followers, only 2% are seeing your stuff. So they're controlling who can see your stuff. If I get 1,000 people to my website, 1,000 people can go anywhere they want on my website. I would go a little bit deeper into websites and why they're so important and the things that they need to have on there so that you can set yourself apart. But this video is getting super long. And I'm almost done. I think I have 1 or 2 more. The last thing to building a 6-figure brand is eventually you're going to be methodical, right? This part is, it's all really the long game, but a lot of what I taught you, 6 months to a year, you do this stuff, you'll be where you want to be. But you're playing a long game in terms of you eventually want to be everywhere, as many places as possible, right? When you think about McDonald's, it's everywhere. There's a McDonald's when you need it, right? Because it's literally everywhere. But you can be everywhere as you start monetizing more, right? Like I said, I'm going from Twitter to Instagram. After I master Instagram, which, I'm blessed to have reach 6 figures with my writing career based on Instagram, right? Maybe the next place I go is TikTok. TikTok will be a lot easier for me to blow up and kind of reach my target audience because their algorithm is a little bit different. Maybe TikTok is the next place, but maybe by the time I'm ready to jump off of Instagram and move to something else, there'll be another platform. Maybe it's YouTube for me, right? So eventually you want to be everywhere. Once you start making money, you can hire people to help you be everywhere, right? I have been on billboards and things like that. So you want the brand to grow. You want your brand to grow. You want to be visible to as many people as possible once you have proven to yourself that you can serve and help your niche, because it's all about those true fans. So hopefully this was helpful. I took notes for y'all for this one because I didn't want to forget anything. Hopefully this was helpful. Coming out of this, I want you to sit down, do some work, figure out your 6-figure plan. Making $1,000 is like 83,000 a month. 8,300 a month. 83,000 is $1 million. You see where my brain is at. I love the subconscious. Like, I'm on to the next thing. But and I don't have any degrees in math, y'all. My degree is in marketing, graphic design, and communication. So there's that. So 6 figures, $1,000. That's like 8,300 a month. Totally doable for anybody that's watching this video. If you're a faculty member, maybe you're making 3, 4, 5,000 a month, whatever it is, right? You just got to make 3 or 4 extra thousand a month to add on to that. But we want you to build your brand independent of your institution's paycheck to 6 figures. So we want you to make that 8,300 a month independent of anybody signing your paychecks. You are creating your own wealth here, and the tools that I've taught you today will allow you to sit down and strategize and get clarity on the method you are going to use so that in 2023 you have built a 6-figure academic brand. So this has been enjoyable. I hope it's helped you. If you want to jump on a free 30-minute call with me, I am here for you. Click the link around this box. We'll talk. I'll talk you through reaching your goals. If you want more information, a little bit more of the how-to, jump into the free Power Your Research Masterclass. That's about 60 minutes. Bring your notebook. You'll get a free ebook for that class. And, if you just want to stay informed, hop on the Power Your Research mailing list. I love to give you some value that way. So you have an amazing day and be in touch. Thank you, Essie, to you as well.